Shafileh Ahmed was killed by her parents in September 2003, and her body was found in the Lake District 5 months later. Her two sisters, Alicia and Mebish, witnessed the murder with their brother, but they had a terrifying secret, fearing they might come next. The only person Mebish talked about it was her best friend Shahin. "Meb always told me about violence at home," Shahin tells the Cosmopolitan. "But she always had something she couldn't say. I told her if I could write it down and say it out loud to give it to me instead. She was never really allowed to go out alone, but one day she wrote to me and said she would go to town with her mother. She said they were going to H&M, so I went there and started organizing my clothes with my head down. I was looking through the railing when Mev and her mother passed by, and when Mev passed by, when she dropped a letter on her floor. When Shahin went home and read Meb's letter explaining the assassination of Shafira, she couldn't believe it. I will do anything to change that night," Meb wrote. "I wish I hadn't seen it. I saw it, and Alicia saw, but just sat and watched. I also saw the suitcases they were putting in." Later in court, Meb said she wrote pure fiction, the free writing she made. But Shahin knew it was absolutely true, and she knew the secret ever since. "The next day she met Meb in the park," explains Shahin, who graduated with a degree in psychology last year. "She was completely scared. She saw every car passing by and thought it might be her dad. I handed her a letter and asked me to read it aloud. But she couldn't. She was completely out of order. I couldn't tell anyone because Mev's parents always threatened her that if she told someone it would be next. She was also a victim." Then Mev talked about Shafileh together with her favorite memories of them and everything they experienced. "She told me that Shafira received the worst treatment of her sisters and her brothers. She was a problem. Sometimes Shafira wasn't allowed to eat, and sometimes she went out in the rain. It was because she had a cell phone and she talked to the boy and wanted to wear makeup and heels. This was a big problem for her family. The reason for the discussion on the night she was killed was that she just left the house in an uncoated t-shirt." When Shafira's parents Farzana and Iftikhar Ahmed were arrested in May 2012 and tried on suspicion of murder, Shahin knew that his parents had told police that he had killed Shafira. Meb refused to admit the truth. Mev had asked to return the letters, but I copied them and kept a diary. I was disappointed that Mev did not speak out. As soon as they were prosecuted, I told Meb, "You will have to forget your mother and father. This trial is about your sister. Because no one else does. You have to stand up for them." The trial took place at Chester Crown Court. Shafira's sister, Arisha, told the jury what happened from behind the partition. She stuffed her in her mouth. Arisha said she hugged her there while her sister's eyes were bulging, and she got herself wet because she was very struggling. A little later, Shafira died. However, Meb refused to support Arisha's story and Shahin's evidence became definitive. Looking back at the process, Shahin said, "I kept a secret to save Meb's life. Don't do it for me." Eventually, Shafira's parents were convicted of murder and sentenced to life imprisonment for at least 25 years. Shahin says he wants to stand up for all other women who are dominated and at risk, like Shafira. The problem is that these crimes are so hidden. You may never know what they are experiencing by passing someone. People also need the right help. Yes, otherwise things can get worse when you look at them. I think this day is important for raising awareness. You need to understand the honor killings so that girls like Shafira can get help before it's too late. On the 14th, we held a day to commemorate Shafira, her birthday, and all the other women lost to honor the murder.